it out for yourself at 3003 Main Avenue in Fargo. Red Wing shoes for ultimate durability.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
Happy Monday, December 25th. Merry Christmas. Oh, wait. No. We're 90 days after our Christmas storm that we had. 90 days. Let's see. A 45-day LRC cycle. Isn't that amazing? Right on schedule that we got this storm system. And I'll tell you what. Yeah, it's bad out. Don't want to downplay it. But, boy, it could have been a lot worse. All of our models when we left Friday were going... What was the minimum? 8 inches, I believe, and with some models up to about a foot to a foot and a half. And we end up escaping with about, and it's not done, we still got about an inch or so to go, maybe a couple more inches, but 2 to 4 inches throughout the FM area. You head out into Lakes Country and slightly higher amounts. Areas out around Wadena picked up 6 inches. Parker's Prairie, 5.5. Lidgerwood, 3.5. Minneapolis was the most I saw with 8 inches, and they've even changed to rain there. But other than that, keep in mind, we had a blizzard a couple weeks ago, was it, with 1 to 2 inches? And although winds aren't going to be as strong, they're still going to produce, and they are producing, a lot of blowing and drifting of snow. Those east-west roadways are going to be very difficult as we head towards evening. Right now on radar, there's a band of some moderate to even heavy snow. It's a thin band stretching from about Twin Valley through Fenton, Sabin, and that is rotating towards the FM area. So we've seen the snow increase here over the last 30 minutes, and that will continue to increase as we get what's called the kind of the deformation zone, or the backside of this storm system that's starting to intensify a little bit over our area. But additional snowfall, probably 1 to 2 inches. Some spots could locally pick up another 3 inches. So it's not about how much we get. It's just the wind that's along with it. Your evening commute is going to be a little bit on the difficult side compared to your morning commute, especially on those east-west roadways. How's it look out in your area, Bridgette?
Right now, there's still snowfall. The wind has certainly been howling like a freight train, but not as much as expected. So you asked me earlier, how much snow did we get? Hard to tell because the wind's got it blown up in piles everywhere. So overall, I mean, our snow total, I think, right here in northern Cass County wasn't nearly as much as one would have expected.
Right. And you hardly had anything at all up north, did you, Justin?
Man, you couldn't even tell that it snowed up here.
That's too bad. You missed out.
Unless you were watching all day yesterday, that's the only way you would have known that we had snow. And it's technically snowing, but I don't think any of it's reaching the surface here in Grand Forks. Just way too much dry air up here, way more prevalent dry air than the models we're leading on to.
Right. And that'll happen. But we do have more snow continuing through the rest of the afternoon, along with winds gusting close to 40 miles an hour. Temperatures across the area in the mid-20s. We'll stay in the mid to upper 20s for the rest of the afternoon with those, again, winds gusting close to 40. Reducing visibility, especially in open areas, and those east-west roadways are going to be difficult in terms of blowing and drifting of the snow. Snow will continue into early tonight before winding down. Again, additional snowfall total about 1 to 2 inches. Some local areas might pick up 3, but I think 1 to 2 inches more across the area is a pretty safe bet. Lows down into the mid-teens tonight, and then tomorrow, just cloudy and windy. Maybe a few flurries, still some blowing snow with the highs in the 20s. We're staying in the 20s as we head into Wednesday, and then we'll start to warm things up into the 30s by the time we hit the end of the week. But there's also a chance for another wintry mix coming in here, not only Friday, but possibly on Easter Sunday as well. Doesn't look to be a big storm, but something we'll keep an eye on. It could deposit a little more light snow or a mix of rain and snow end of the weekend into the upcoming weekend as well. So, boy, Old Man Winter just kind of he's not quite done yet.
Okay, but
Not quite.
fair statement here. For those of you who are mad that the storm wasn't as bad as predicted, if you're in snow removal, I get it. Okay, you want to move snow. If you'd like to go snowmobiling because your school got called off today, that'd be
mhm.
awesome. For those of you who have to be out in the elements, whether it's for construction, livestock, etc., you're okay with this. Now,
Right.
which leads me to, if you happened to be working for mortonbuildings.com, you'd get paid whether it was good weather or bad. So keep them in mind if you want to make a job change. mortonbuildings.com/careers. Check them out.
That's a good idea.
Today might be your day to say,
Oh,
maybe I
man.
got to have a different job.
Right.
You
But-
don't say it.
Yeah, not you. You aren't going anywhere, bud. Yeah, sorry about
Well,
that.
I would love to win some quarterly bonuses and get flown over to Jamaica for doing a good job. Wouldn't that be cool?
Good, but your name is Justin Storm. If there was ever a man destined to be a weatherman, it's you. It's probably no different
Jamaica gets
than,
storms and weather.
well, Greg Guest used to work for the Weather Service as well. I mean, some of you are just meant to do certain things.
This is true. This is very true.
Oh man, I've had people already asking me when is spring going to return, and it'll
It
be
will.
late next week. We'll start to warm things back up, but I want you to mark your calendars because so this is our Christmas storm on the LRC calendar, and 90 days later, here it is. Extrapolate 90 days from today. That we're looking at June 25th, 24th through the 26th. So let's just smack it right at the 25th. This storm has been a pretty decent severe weather producer down in the southern tier of the U.S. Now, by the end of June, we will be in the heart of severe weather season around here. So watch for a severe weather outbreak from this that right around that June 25th time frame as the system cycles back through. That'll be interesting to see if it has as much energy and how much severe weather that's going to produce. So.
It should also be wrapping around here a time before that as well.
Yeah, May, 45 days from today, so we're looking at second week in May. If I'm doing my math right, yeah.
Hopefully we have a lot of crop planted by then. Please and thank you.
Well, then let's bring us some decent rainfall when that wraps up in May and the end of June. That'd be nice. That'd be really nice.
Absolutely. Let's bring in the right timing on that.
All right. So what are we covering today, Bridgette? Do you have any specific topics you want to hit on today?
Well, we do always have a list, and just a couple of things. First of all, one that I really want to make sure to mention is that tonight, Prairie Public Television is going to be having a documentary by Independent Lens. This is focusing on farm families. It's called Greener Pastures. It's not about forage crop. What this has to do with is for Midwestern families, and it walks through a time frame with them of climate change, industrialization, but also mental health crises. And we know that that's a situation in rural America that is growing and not in a positive way. And so I really want to encourage people to take the time to watch tonight. I plan to. I want to see what they have to say and what the families are going through and how they've dealt with it, because we all know that healthcare in rural America is difficult. Mental health care in rural America is even more so. There aren't psychotherapists on every corner, and so we are looking for ways all the time to try to make our lives better as well as for those around us. So please join me in watching that tonight. Again, that'll be on Prairie Public Television. Locally, he'll be here at 9 o'clock. Please check your schedules and join in.
Nice. That should be interesting. How long is that?
Yeah,
Do
I
you know,
think it will
Bridgette?
be.
Was on again?
It's on at 9 o'clock. It's a 2-hour program because I already made sure to set my DVR so that I didn't miss it. Because if this kid falls asleep in the middle of it, I want to see the end.
Right.
I wanna know what
It's on
happened.
PBS, Justin.
Yes.
I see.
Yep.
Okay.
Great. And we
Looking
I'll have to
forward
see if
to
one
it.
of my streaming things will pick it up because we don't get any cable.
Over the air
Yeah,
channels.
too expensive for cable.
That's okay. I can
That
tell
and
you
what
right
I've
now,
realized.
I've got more
Go
over
ahead.
the air channels now than I ever had as a kid. So it's actually pretty cool.
And we
That's
got
the antenna, right?
Yep, the antenna. That's right.
a special guest
Yeah.
coming up here in a few minutes. Bridgette, you want to introduce our guest?
We do. We're going to be joined by Julie Christianson. She's with Bushel. Bushel is right here in Fargo, North Dakota. They have made quite the impression in the last 10 years of their existence in the agribusiness world. Farmers are familiar with them because Bushel powers all of the apps that are behind their local elevators when it comes to their assembly sheets, what's going on for grain on storage, payments, etc. Bushel does a lot. I am very much looking forward to seeing all of the things that Julia has to talk about. But most importantly, we want to focus on her State of the Farm report for 2024 and what Bushel has to say about it. For those of you who are interested in reading the full report with a lot of data coming from the recent Census of Agriculture, you can go find it at Bushel's website locally. Again, this is Bushel, Fargo, North Dakota. Not hard to find, but you can read it for yourself. Julia is going to help us talk about some very large bits and pieces of it. So looking forward to doing that with her today.
Great. And before we head to break and go to Julie, we do have Jerry on line one. Jerry, welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. What's your question for us today?
I was just curious then, with the weather outlook for 90 days out, would June 22nd and 23rd be a good day or a bad day to spray?
Oh, that is a great question, Jerry. There will be wind with this. So you're looking at June 20. So you're looking ahead of this before the storm arrives.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm going to spray for weeds or do any lawn care, I know a good soaking rain afterward isn't such a bad thing. But if it's going to be a torrential downpour where everything's going to get washed away,
good point. Right. Good point. Mm-hmm. There will be wind with it. I'd say spray a few days before this arrives, so that like around the 22nd. I think that'd be fair. Maybe even a day earlier than that. In terms of how much precip this is going to bring with it, come that 25th time frame. We know the storm will be there, but in terms of how much precip, now each cycle after the Christmas storm. Each cycle that it's cycled back on has had less precip each cycle. Now, that doesn't mean that'll necessarily be the case in June, but I think if you're going to spray right around that 21st, 22nd time frame before the winds hit out ahead of this system, I think you'll be okay.
Dean?
Yeah.
I think one of the things that he might be looking for is, are we going to get that in a slow soaking rain over a longer period of time or a hard packing?
Yeah, it's just
too soon, but
yeah,
that's what we're going to need to know, because when you get, and I think, Jerry, maybe what you're looking for is when you get those hard packing rains, especially if you move soil particles, do you lose the efficacy of what you've just done? So that's probably a little bit of where we're going with that question.
Right. Yeah. And it's just too early to tell if it's going to be a hard soaking rain. Typically in June, you don't get those soft, real soft, steady rains. You usually, unfortunately, get those soaking rains real quick. So we'll see how it pans out. Yeah, we'll see how it pans out. So we've got American Ag Network coming up next, and then after that, we'll have Julie join us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Mixed action in cattle and a solid day in hogs on Monday. You're listening to the American Ag Network. I'm Jesse Allen with this market update. Well, as we are looking to wrap up the trading session on the livestock side, mixed tones dominating much of the complex on Monday. Cattle trade slipping a little bit lower here into the close as we take a little bit of profit. Overall, though, pretty solid day in cattle as it was a little bit hesitant, but overall reacting somewhat okay to a bearish cattle on feed report that we got on Friday, especially that placements number, the highest since the series began since 1996. We look at box beef prices higher at midday, choice up 29 cents, 311.01. Select up 57 cents at 302.04 per hundredweight. Now on the feeder side, we all knew the report was going to showcase greater placements than a year ago. And given the weather circumstances of this past January, but the report showed placements up 10% again, which was significant. And we did see a little bit more pressure develop here in deferred contracts as we work through our session. On the hog side, pretty solid trading day there. Pork cutout values up 227, 95, 65. And as a side note, Thursday, the latest quarterly hogs and pigs report will be out into the trade as well. You're listening to the American Ag Network.
Non-attorney paid spokesperson. Could your house go into foreclosure? Are you behind on your mortgage payments? Does it seem like the bank has no interest in helping you save your home? And you feel like you have nowhere to turn for help? Then we have good news for you. Foreclosure Protection Services can help save your home as they specialize in foreclosure assistance. That's all they do. If you're behind on your mortgage payments, being threatened with foreclosure, have been denied a loan modification, or been the victim of a predatory loan, it's critical that you call Foreclosure Protection Services now at 800-926-1701. Their network of attorneys and their agents are available to speak to you now. If you're behind on your mortgage payments, Foreclosure Protection Services can help stop the foreclosure process. Call today before it's too late. New laws are in effect that may save your home. Call Foreclosure Protection Services now at 800-926-1701. 800-926-1701. That's 800-926-1701.
As we take a look at the latest hog prices and trends, steady in Dorchester, Wisconsin, to Garnerville, Iowa, barrels and gilt 60 in both locations. Cattle country is quiet as we see that new show lists appear to be mixed, higher in Texas but lower in Kansas and Nebraska, Colorado. On the futures trade, April live cattle down 117, 186.32. Feeder cattle for April down 107, 250.42. And hogs May 120 higher at 91.60. Crude oil up $1.14 a barrel, 81.77. This is the American Ag.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
Welcome back to WDAY Weather and Ag in Focus. Thank you for joining us today. And okay, it's a snow day. I hope you all stocked up on the things you need, and I hope that included North Dakota Sweet Crude. If you haven't tasted North Dakota Sweet Crude or Sweet Crude Orange, well, you're definitely missing out. And not only does it have a great taste, but if you want to check it out for yourself, April 5th in Detroit Lakes, there will be some taste testing at the Detroit Lakes Beer Festival. The same day, Cashwise Liquors on Highway 10 in Moorhead has some samplings. And the following day, April 6th, they'll be at Happy Harry's on 53rd Avenue South in Fargo. So catch them all whenever you get a chance. Now, most importantly today is our guest, and that is Julie Christianson. She is with Bushel. Julia, how are you today? Julie, excuse me.
All of us at Bushel, one is Julia and one is Julie, so it's pretty easy to get confused.
It's been happening to me in emails. I'm like, wait a second, who did I just send a message to? But thank you for slugging through that with me. I appreciate it.
You betcha, no problem. Great to be here.
Tell us a little bit about Bushel. For those of us in the agribusiness world, your name means a lot, not just in yield, but performance and what you do with your company.
Yep, you bet. So Bushel is a software company. We're based right there in Fargo, and our focus is on building digital tools for farmers and their agribusiness partners. And ultimately, it's all about saving time and money, right? That's what our technology does for farmers and agribusiness as well. We serve farmers in a couple different ways. You mentioned it earlier, I think, when you're introing this segment. We have 2,600 grain and ag retail locations in the United States and Canada that offer a Bushel-powered mobile app to their farmers. So that's available to their farmers at no cost, provided by their agribusiness. There's 50 of those companies in North Dakota and Minnesota. So a lot of local people right there using that Bushel-powered app. That gives those farmers 24/7 access to their bids, grain bids, and then also their account information, like their scale tickets, their contracts, settlements, things like that. And they can even submit grain offers, sell grain mobilely, or sign contracts right there on their phone and get paid or pay digitally to their agribusinesses. So pretty cool. And then we also have a farm management software that's called Bushel Farm. And that, again, is also a mobile and desktop app for farmers that helps them manage everything for their farm in one place, right? From tracking their rainfall, which sounds like we're going to get some precipitation. You're getting some precipitation up there, to field activities, inputs, grain marketing, and profit and loss all the way down to the field level. So no more coffee stained notepads or complicated spreadsheets. That's what we're trying to get rid of.
What's everybody going to put in the front pocket of their shirts if they don't have those coffee stained sheets and so forth?
Their phone right there.
That's awesome. Okay. You all have something called the State of the Farm Report. Where does that stem from? How did you decide to start giving such great information to people in such a format?
Yeah, so the survey started in 2017 by a company called Farm Logs, and Farm Logs was a farm management software platform, and that was acquired by Bushel in 2021. And Farm Logs is now Bushel Farm, which is what I mentioned earlier. So the goal of our survey, something that we decided we wanted to continue because farm logs had really gotten a good following of that survey, and we thought this provides really good information. We continued it because we want to better understand the needs and concerns of our row crop farmers that we serve, right? They're our customers of Bushel Farm, and they're also the customers of the agribusinesses that we serve. And then we really want to lift up farmers' voices, right? And make sure that they're heard, not only by their peers, right? What are farmers doing out there? What are my peers doing? But also for agribusiness partners. So they have a good understanding of what farmers' needs and concerns and preferences are these days.
Julie, what would you say is the biggest change in digital products for farmers over the last 10 years?
I mean, we're seeing a lot of differences. I mean, that's a huge question.
Right.
Well, their sheer existence. Can I just answer it that way?
Yeah. We've really gone from very minimal, right? I mean, I think in the old, we would say like tractors, right? And auto steer and some things like that came out that revolutionized farming. But now we're seeing a lot more. And of course, we're in the software department thinking about apps and desktop software that makes workflows easier for agribusinesses, as well as record keeping and profitability management for farmers easier. So, three big areas.
I've watched farmers get your app and literally then pick up their phone and show other people and go, look at this. So I just want to say a big congratulations and please go with your 3 points.
Oh, no, it's absolutely. I was just going to say, I think, in our survey, some of the things that we certainly saw that there is aggressive adoption of technology by primarily younger and growing farmers. It's kind of interesting when we look at our survey. So we asked questions about farming practices, grain marketing strategies, technology usage and preference, and then overall concerns and opportunities to these farmers. And they were U.S. farmers. We had about 900 row crop farmers respond to the survey. And we asked a question about what their growth plans were. And I think that is where we really can start to differentiate. And we really honed in on farmers that have aggressive growth plans for their farm. So 40% of the people who completed our survey said they have aggressive growth plans for their farm. And 60% of those are age 18 to 40. So we've got this really interesting growing demographic in agriculture, right? We're going to see this tipping point where the age of our farmers is going to roll over. And not only are they the future decision makers and influencers, but because they have these aggressive growth plans, they're certainly somebody to watch for agribusinesses to make sure that they build and grow relationships with those folks right away. And we think technology is probably going to be important to that.
Well, on your page, just about your technology, page 13 of your report talks about adapting technology. And North Dakota has been identified as the fastest growing when it comes to adaptation of precision tech. Before you get to your other points, my quick question is, are you surprised? Are you surprised to see that adaptation right here?
I'm not. I think you have a lot of large farmers there in North Dakota. They're looking to be efficient in their operations. Farming is really no different than any other business. I think sometimes it gets a bad rap that it isn't as progressive, perhaps as other industries. I don't think that's true. Bushel has seen an opportunity to digitize the supply chain in agriculture. I think that was behind, right? We have infrastructure like railroads, but we don't perhaps have digital infrastructure that connects all of those pieces of the supply chain in agriculture. But farmers are certainly adopting what other technologies out there that's going to help them be more efficient.
And quickly, which is fantastic. So, Julie, we have lots more questions in regards to the State of the Farm Report by Bushel and, about your business in general. So don't go anywhere. It is 1:29 in the afternoon. Bottom of our hour, we will be right back and we'll continue this discussion. If you have questions and want to ask them, call us up on the Red Wing Shoe line, 701-293-9000. Stay tuned.
Jay Thomas has a brand new show, The Common Sense Club with Jay Thomas, Scott Hennon, and Steve Hallstrom.
This really worries me when the government's going to start saying, we don't like your business, we don't like who you're tied to.
You're forgetting an important component in this, though, and that's Chinese ownership.
I get that, Scott. I get that, and I understand that. But again, Do you want the government now deciding where we're going to get our information from?
The Common Sense Club. Subscribe today at flagfamily.com/plus.
It's about tradition, values, and family ties. Pucklet Chevrolet GMC's tradition of giving back to our community remains a priority, and that's why we've partnered with many local nonprofit organizations and events. And our tradition of giving this community a fair and honest offer continues. This month, save up to $10,102 on a new 23 GMC Sierra 1500 SLT. We're Pucklet Chevrolet GMC in Valley City. GMC, we are professional grade.
See dealer for details and 4/30/24.
Good afternoon, I'm Tom Tucker, WDAY News First. Some North Dakota farmers are welcoming the late season snow. That's because the majority of the state is abnormally dry. Meanwhile, one forecaster at NDSU says the seasonal drought outlook is difficult to predict right now, but says the northern part of the state could be drier than usual this year. Several Moorhead roads are set to close Wednesday in preparation for the 11th Street Underpass construction project. Beginning March 27th, 1st Avenue and 11th Street will officially close for public use. Officials with the Minnesota Department of Transportation encourage drivers who are traveling north or south to use 14th Street North, 4th Avenue North, and 9th Street North. For traveling east or west, they recommend 8th Street South, Center Avenue, and 14th Street. And the chancellor for the North Dakota University system is commenting after Minnesota State University Moorhead announced tuition-free education for some North Dakotans.
We're studying it. We have, scholarships from the legislature on career builders. They gave us a tuition freeze. That helps as well.
Chancellor Dr. Mark Hageroth says he continues to work with state lawmakers to address competitive pressures presented by Minnesota's North Star Promise program. Tom Tucker, WDAY, and WDAYRadioNow.com.
It's Jay and Ronnie from the Coffee Club, and we enjoy drinking coffee because it keeps us energized and focused.
Well, let's be frank. I enjoy drinking coffee because coffee keeps me wide-eyed in the morning, but I'll tell you this type of coffee is organic, specialty-grade coffee, beans selected from the top 2% available, 100% Arabica bean coffee, certified organic, non-GMO, low acidity, rich, smooth, and ready to drink.
The finish is clean and it has a pleasant aftertaste. It's delicious. It's so far the best coffee that we've had. It's also roasted and packed in the US of A. We love it and we guarantee you will too. All you need to do is go to mystore.com, click on My Coffee, and enter the promo code WDAY.
That's promo code WDAY to get your own My Coffee.
It's also roasted and packed in the US of A. We love it and we guarantee you will too. Go to mystore.com, promo code WDAY.
Attention farmers! Are unexpected breakdowns leaving you stranded in the field? Don't let downtime hinder your harvest. Advanced Diesel Repair is your trusted partner in getting you back in action fast. Their technicians specialize in swift diagnostics and top-notch repairs, ensuring your diesel equipment is up and running in no time. With Advanced Diesel Repair, you can count on reliable service and minimal disruptions to your farming operation. Advanced Diesel Repair, conveniently located off the I-94 Wild Rice exit and online at adrofhorace.com.
This is Weather and Ag in Focus with Bridgette Readel, Justin Storm, and Dean Wysocki.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. Thanks for rejoining us 1:33 in this afternoon. And we're rejoining our conversation with Julie Christianson from Bushel, talking about the state of the farm report and other cool things that they're doing over there at Bushel. If you got any questions, you want to join in on our conversation, give us a call on the Red Wing Shoes phone line. That's 701-293-9000, or emails to the program, weather or ag at flagfamily.com, and as well, Bridgette's personal phone will accept messages through there during this conversation.
And
Julie,
still has been as usual, yes.
Still looking for a sponsor for it, too. Your business could sponsor Bridgette's phone. All right, Julie, before we left out there, we were kind of hitting on a few points of the state of the farm report, and you'd kind of given off a few, but I was hoping you could add a little bit more to that and tell us more about the whole state of the farm report, more of those points and things you're driving home with the report.
Yeah, you bet. I do want to go back to what Bridgette was talking about with North Dakota and adoption, and how I'm not overly surprised, and really I think the the onus might be more on the software companies to help those farmers adopt that technology. But one of the things we really did see was this aggressive adoption of technology by younger and growing farmers. And one of those areas, there were really 3 areas that we looked at: software for managing the farm, software for grain marketing, and then also payments technology in agriculture as well. So it's interesting to me, and I think probably to others, that less than 5% of the respondents to our survey who are under the age of 50 said they don't use any apps or software for farm-related activity. So that means 95% are using some kind of app or software for their farm, whether that's weather, accounting, financial record keeping, yield monitoring, mapping, things like that. And we dug just a little bit deeper, wanting to know, well, what's the value, right, that creates for those farms? How have they made life easier? Have they increased revenue? Have they lowered cost? And the majority of farmers said that convenience is the greatest source of value creation, right? And but those under 40 said not only is convenience important, but equally important would be increasing revenues and lowering cost. So I think convenience in agribusiness is something that we all need to be thinking about, not just in technology, how we work with our farmer customers. And it's certainly something that we're keeping top of mind here at Bushel, right? No matter how many awesome things software can do, if it's not easy to use and it doesn't make the farmer's life easier, then it's not going to be valued by the farm for good reason, right? So that was one of the themes that we saw come out of that survey. We also looked at this grain marketing technology piece, and we asked farmers about if they were willing to leave an open offer or firm offer with their grain buyer. So if the market hits that number, they can sell that grain and not miss out on an opportunity. And in a year like this year, where everybody is really paying attention to costs, being in a good place to take advantage of opportunities is going to be more important than ever. So little over 65% of farmers said they were willing to leave those open orders or firm offers with their grain buyers. And then where the technology piece comes in is 1 out of 3, so a third, said they're likely or very likely to submit a grain offer or sell grain through an app or website. So, that would be an area when you said where are some changes happening, we're definitely seeing adoption by the farmer and the grain buyer to use technology to facilitate grain sales. And when we look at specifically at younger producers or those with high growth plans, the likelihood of using an app or website to sell grain rose to 50%. So definitely a change on the horizon there for how grain is bought and sold, thanks to technology.
So along that line, when you look at those trends in grain marketing, is there one in particular that really stood out to you? I mean, as I scroll through the report, there's a couple that I see, and probably the one that I catch the most is folks still rely very much on being local when it comes to their grain marketing. What other things maybe did you see in this report?
Yeah, well, we did ask a question about the primary reason that farmers would sell grain to one company versus another. This is for the benefit of our agribusinesses that want to read that report. And we said, excluding bids, right, or hauling distance, so we took out that local opportunity, why do you sell to one company over another? And I think something that was interesting to see was that producers under 40 rated relationship with staff 10% lower than other respondents. So while relationships are still certainly important for that younger and growing group, the next generation of farmers that we have on the horizon here, faster payments and offering a marketing program were the highest rated reasons for selling to one company versus another. So I thought that was pretty interesting as we see that age change happen, what other trends are going to come along with it.
I do too. I see a big adaptation rate. Like you said, there's that age trend, et cetera. Where's that going to go in the future, especially as we see more consolidation? And the term local has a whole new different meaning when it comes to grain marketing, et cetera. So knowing full well that Bushel serves its primary source of business in the grain business, do you look at expansion? Are there things that you can be doing for people in other areas like equipment?
We are not so focused on equipment, but ag retail would certainly be an area that could benefit from using our tools as well as the grain industry, right? So if an ag retailer is providing services to a farmer, some of those can be tracked through that account information in the app, prepaids, bookings, things like that, invoices. They could certainly take advantage of the e-sign component, which makes getting a signature on a piece of paper a lot faster when it goes through an app versus through the mail. And the other thing would be payments, right? So if we open up digital payments to grain companies, ag retailers, or other agribusinesses, that makes it so much quicker, easier, and more secure than
Sure.
payment methods that are paper-based.
Well, feel free to put me down for any payments you want to send my direction. I'm happy to accept. So that's not a problem over here.
Well, the crazy part is 70% of farmers said they received check payments for their grain. So that's still
Oh,
a
yeah,
lot of
I believe that.
paper checks going through the mail.
There are, but there's something tangible about that I think matters. It's probably more of a mindset than anything else.
I think there's probably some of that. I think I think we'll probably see that shift in the next 5 years.
So one more question for me, and I know Justin has one as well. You mentioned in your report a slow adaptation to carbon for many farmers, whether it's going into finding a carbon program that fits them, carbon credits, etc. Do you see that shifting, or do you have any basis? Have farmers reported why there's a slow adaptation to those programs? Because Lord knows with current administration, there are dollars flowing for everybody to get involved.
Yep, for sure. We did see an uptick this year. So 19% of our respondents said that they do participate in some sort of payment-based carbon program. That was up 10% from last year's survey. So we're definitely seeing an increase in that. We're seeing that younger farmers are much more likely to participate in those kinds of programs. 50% actually of our 18 to 40 age group reported participating in some kind of carbon-based program. But as you might guess, the biggest barrier, or the reason that people are holding back on that participation, is unclear benefits, right? They and not enough information. They're waiting to better understand what's available.
Okay, fair enough.
I got one here with kind of what's coming next and the way that things are moving. You had mentioned with such a younger flip and age of workers in agriculture. We're going to be switching this from older to younger here fairly soon. We're going through that right now. And with the younger generation using more of this technology, more of farms being able to afford, or eventually getting into the point where they can get entry level, more technologically advanced pieces of equipment on the farm for precision agriculture, whether or not that's planting or spraying or anything in between with that, especially with autonomous vehicles. What's next when it comes to the software business with Bushel for the next 5-10 years down the road, when we start to see these bigger and bigger and bigger swings and more demand from the consumer? What does that look like on your end for maybe things in R&D or things that you guys have in the work, or maybe even just speculation on what might be around the corner with all the advancements in technology?
Yeah, I do. I mean, payments is still, I would say, I don't know if infancy is the right answer there, but I think digital payments, as we see more and more people adopting digital wallets outside of agriculture, that will become much more popular and desirable. Even though there's something maybe emotional attached to that paper check today, seeing that money instantly in your account instead of having to wait for it to arrive in the mail, deposit it. I mean, when you put it in a digital wallet and it's available to you to send to different bank accounts or send to your agribusinesses when you're getting either paid or paying, I think that's going to be big. Traceability, I do think we've been talking about that a long time in agriculture, but I think whether it's for a carbon program or still more consumer desire to know the story of their food, I think being able to track growing practices, where your food is coming from, how much it costs to produce, not just in the cost, but in the carbon cost, right? I think that will continue to evolve.
Very interesting.
As you guys are talking about digital wallets, that really brings to mind part of the reason maybe that folks want to keep those checks? Is it because they're concerned about cybersecurity? I mean, like you just talked about, Justin, people outside of ag have a very high adaptation rate to using digital payments. But I think there's, and it might be generational, there's a feeling of I don't trust it as well. So, Julie, when it comes to cybersecurity with Bushel, how is that protection for those on the agribusiness side and the farmer side?
Yeah, security is a big deal, and people should be thinking about that. Bushel has SOC 2 compliance that we have completed. So I'm not going to go into all the details about that, but because I'm certainly not a security expert, that's not my role. But I can tell you we have some very smart people working here at Bushel to make sure that your data is protected and that it is owned by you.
That would be vital because
yeah. And those check payments, what's crazy is that the post office continues to warn against mailing paper checks, right, due to increased fraud. So you're not secure in that realm either.
Nope, not in the least.
Very interesting. Hey, I had a question here. It was just something I was kind of came to my mind, I guess, when it comes to software and agriculture. Is there anything that you guys do when it comes to estimations on how your crop is doing based on what the daily temperature schemes have been over an area over the last months, or what the forecasts are, and involving any amount of recorded precipitation and some form of estimation of yield, or hey, your crop's looking good, your crop right now looks like it's going to be fair, or your crop is probably struggling because it's been dry and there's been no rain?
Out of the mouth of a meteorologist, right? That's thinking like a meteorologist. Our software doesn't do modeling based on rainfall, but it does provide rainfall tracking. So you'll get this nice email when it starts to rain on your field. So if your fields are a far distance away, like in North Dakota, a lot of those fields are far driving, right? Experience. It'll let you know via email if it's raining on your field with pretty good accuracy. We get information from NOAA for that. And then we also provide satellite imagery. So you can watch in fairly real time tracking what your precipitation is on your fields, as well as what your satellite imagery looks like. So you can see if there's weed pressure, if there's drought, things like that. But no modeling today. Okay. That does not mean there won't be modeling in the future, but today there's not.
Right. All right. Cool. All right.
See, it gives you a chance to put something together for him, Justin.
Yeah, we could maybe get something to go where we could do some yield predicting thing by forecasting what the springs and summers are going to be for precip outlooks across the United States and really across the entire world. We've been using this forecasting technique called the LRC, and we've been using that to predict how dry or wet and temperature schemes over an area are going to be for an entire year. And for the most part, it's been as accurate as what your 7 to 10 day forecasts have been.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Well, I heard the question beforehand here before you went to break about June 23rd and what spraying we should be doing that day.
Right. All right.
I like
well,
that
Julie,
goes.
if anyone's got any questions for you or about Bushel to get more information, where could they do so to get that information?
You bet. I think the best place for a farmer to find information about us is going to be to go to bushelfarm.com, and they'll find pretty much everything they need to know, and they can download the report, the full report. So we just went over a fraction of what was in that State of the Farm report today. It's over 50 questions, so lots of good information in there. On the footer of that website, they'll find a place to download the report.
Cool.
Bushelfarm.com.
Right, well, thank you very much for coming on the show today, Julie. Really appreciate it. And don't go anywhere. We still got a few more ag topics to get to, a check on the forecast, and we have Cheyenne Gardens trivia to do when we come back. So all of that and more with Weather and Ag in Focus.
This Good Friday, Olivet Lutheran Church invites you to a deeply moving Tenebrae service, illuminating the 7 last words of Christ on the cross. Experience the weight of his sacrifice as we journey through each poignant word, drawing closer to the heart of Easter. Join us in solemn reflection as we remember the profound love and redemption found in Christ's final moments. If you can't join us in person, worship online on our YouTube channel. Go to olivet.org for details. Encounter Jesus, experience grace at Olivet Lutheran Church in Fargo.
Attention farmers! Are unexpected breakdowns leaving you stranded in the field? Don't let downtime hinder your harvest. Advanced Diesel Repair is your trusted partner in getting you back in action fast. Their technicians specialize in swift diagnostics and top-notch repairs, ensuring your diesel equipment is up and running in no time. With Advanced Diesel Repair, you can count on reliable service and minimal disruptions to your farming operation. Advanced Diesel Repair, conveniently located off the I-94 Wild Rice exit and online at adrofhorace.com.
Okay, so you've heard about the Sunday brunch at Barron's Eatery at Kingpin's every Sunday. Well, wait till you see how they're amping it up a bit for Easter. Sunday, March 31st from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., join us at Barron's at Kingpin's for their Easter brunch. Smokehouse ham, build your own waffle bar, 2 chef's entree specials, baked Reggiano hash browns, biscuits and gravy, garlic mashed potatoes with gravy, their thick-cut hickory smoked bacon, sausage links. They're doing a chef's special egg bake along with the regular egg bake, fresh caramel rolls made to order, assorted fruit, assorted pastries and croissants, and of course the dessert bar. $25 for adults, kids eat for $15, 12 and under. You're going to need to call for a reservation, though. 701-532-BOWL. Push extension 2. 701-532-BOWL, extension 2. Or stop into Barron's host stand and make your reservation there. Barron's Eatery at Kingpin's for Easter brunch. We'll see you there.
At Morton Buildings, they're different. From the painted red gable trim to their desire to provide a better quality and better looking building. Even their employees are different. From the construction crews to the sales consultants and plant employees, no matter who a customer interacts with, they can rest assured they're speaking with a proud owner of Morton Buildings who wants to make sure that the customer is satisfied and happy. Ready to be different? Visit mortonbuildings.com/careers today.
Planning for spring at Lowe's means big savings on outdoor power equipment, and Lowe's knows nothing feels better than free. Buy one select Ego string trimmer, leaf blower, or mower kit. Get one select 56-volt battery free. That's up to a $299 value. Power through spring with Ego, the #1 rated brand in cordless outdoor power. Because Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 4/3 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Weather and Ag in Focus on WDAY Radio.
And welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus. 1:52 on this afternoon. We've got some snow coming through the FM Metro, and we'll get a rundown on that forecast coming up in just a moment. Numbers to the program today, 701-293-9000. That's the Red Wing Shoes shoe line, and you're going to need that number to call in for a chance at winning Cheyenne Gardens trivia. Every day between now and the 12th of April, I believe, we'll be doing garden trivia brought to you by Cheyenne Gardens, just 10 minutes north of Fargo. And if you're the first person to guess the correct answer, you'll win yourself a $10 certificate to Cheyenne Gardens that'll be valid on April 14th or April 15th and forward. So, your trivia question for today is, what fruit has seeds on the outside? That is your trivia question.
Oh, that's easy.
What fruit has seeds on the outside?
701-293-9000.
Yes, for your chance to, you get it right, you win yourself a $10 certificate to Cheyenne Gardens.
All right.
You got a vast selection of
and
trees and shrubs and all sorts of stuff.
Caller, welcome to Weather and Ag in Focus. What's your first name?
Doug.
Doug, do you have, what's your guess for today's trivia question?
That's got to be a strawberry, don't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, very good.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that was kind of an easy one, Justin.
That's a Monday.
It is a Monday. That's right.
It's a Monday.
Yeah. Well, Doug, if you can hold on, our our producer, Addison, he will get your information and let you know how to pick up your gift certificate. Congratulations, Doug.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, don't go anywhere. All right. Yeah, that was kind of an easy one, but that's
It
good,
was
though.
easy
We need
one.
those easy ones.
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, I'm looking out behind me, and visibility has really come down here over the last 15, 20 minutes as we've got a band of some moderate to heavy snow working right now through the FM area. The back edge is out around the Sabin area. It's moving, oddly enough, from east to west as this storm system really starts to ramp up in the Central Plains and moving pretty quickly into areas of Iowa right now. It's a pretty thin band, so we should see this heavy snow, at least briefly, over the FM area start to diminish here within the next hour, but we'll still see some light snow for the rest of the afternoon. But be careful if you're out and about. Again, additional accumulations today. Up to about 2 inches. Some spots could locally pick up maybe 3. But other than that, the main concern is going to be the blowing and drifting of the snow. Getting reports on Highway 10 right now going east out of the Fargo-Moorhead area. Pretty treacherous there. And as you approach on Highway 10, as you approach DL, very, very slick conditions. And within the North Dakota area, we're looking at just up and down 29. Once you get past Hillsboro, you're okay. But even going west on 94 or south on 29, anywhere on 29, a lot of scattered slippery and some partially snow covered. So be careful if you're out and about here as we head towards the evening, as snow will vary in intensity depending where you're at. But again, it's not the amount of snow we're getting, but the wind causing the blowing and the drifting of the snow, especially on those east-west roadways. Winter's not quite done yet.
No, but we can't
Just
expect
not.
that. Let's look at our timeline, guys. It's only March yet.
I know.
The only time we're truly ever safe, and even then it's non-zero, is August.
Oh, come on. We're good in July, too. I know. We've seen it in July, but geez.
Mostly good. Mostly good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mostly good.
If we get snow in July this year, it's your fault.
Nah, I want snow in August. I want
No.
to have snow recorded in every single month.
You're nuts.
You can't just leave August excluded. It's lonely.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. I ask.
Bridgette,
look, I hear good things happen in July. I don't think snow is one of them.
No.
I am just giving a heads up there.
I'm pretty sure that's correct.
You don't want to go snowmobiling for the 4th of July?
I'd prefer not. Thank you very kindly.
prefer to be out at the lakes with a cold beverage in hand and a lot of sunshine.
Have sunshine and a cold beverage and snow. What are you talking about?
You're killing me, Smalls.
And it's really cold.
Man.
All right. So speaking of July, something that will be important to all of you as that gets closer is the fact that North Dakota has a burn map, and we've had it for a long time, but we've actually there's some improvements that have been made to it as of recently. Because before you had to go to 3 different places to find all the information. Now you can go to northdakotaresponse.gov/burn and you can find everything that you might need. That would include daily fire danger ratings, red flag warnings, and burn restrictions provided by local emergency managers. Underneath the snowfall that we've gotten, and for those of you to the north who didn't get it, there's a lot of dry plant material. And so if you're planning on burning ditches, creeks, pastures, or any of the above, you're going to want to check those burn maps and plan ahead to make sure that you get things done in a safe manner. So just a reminder to everyone to be safe out there. Keep an eye on it.
And I think that'll wrap it up for the show today. Guys, it was fun. We'll be back tomorrow, 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The Screaming Goat said that Jay Thomas still isn't in studio, but his show is coming up next.
Jay Thomas has a brand new show, The Common Sense Club with Jay Thomas, Scott Hennon, and Steve Hallstrom.
It's a bloodbath.